or the low end of the guidelines, whichever is lower?
That's fine.
Thank you. We'll do that then.
Okay.
All right, we are on the record in file 23-21552-FH, People versus Dominic Nerville Nash. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. McCready for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dave McCready for the people.
Rhonda Underwood for Mr. Nash this morning, Your Honor.
Right. Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Nash's case today?
After negotiations, Your Honor, Mr. Nash has agreed to plead guilty to a amended count 2 of arson in the 3rd degree, Your Honor, a 10-year felony, with a Killebrew, Your Honor, to 29 months as a minimum, or the low end of the guidelines, whichever is lower.
All right, Mr. McCready, is that a complete and accurate statement of the plea agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to need an amended information.
One is being prepared. One is being prepared right now, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Nash, I'm going to put you back out in the waiting room for a few minutes. As soon as we have the amended information for your case, I'll bring you back in and we'll continue.
Okay.
Oh, Your Honor, may I go over to Judge Anzalone for just a minute?
All right, I do have a trial. I've got to start at 10 o'clock.
I will be right back, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Yep, go ahead. Okay, sir, you're Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Hennigan, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Kennedy?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Fleming. What cases do you have today?
Good morning, Judge. Just trying to pretty much back up Mr. Bayonetto there, and I got David Lefebvre and Mitchell Robinson.
Oh, Mr. Fleming or Mr. Bayonetto, we have someone here, Venus Gonzalez. Her file number I can give you It's 23-21600. And we had adjourned her case from a previous date, and I think that a nollie pros was going to be filed for her case. But when I looked in our register of actions, I didn't see it. But it's also not on my docket today. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
I have a noli pros in our file, Judge. If you want, I can send that up just to make sure it gets to you today. Yeah, it looks like it was signed by Mr. Sneed on November 17th.
Judge,
Okay, I'm sure
you signed that already. I was in the pile of stuff that you needed to sign yesterday.
Okay. Then I apparently signed it late yesterday. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, good morning again, Ms. Gonzalez. See, I'm going to send you a request to unmute. Just make sure you're there and you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Now, so your case has been dismissed, so you're all set. You can go ahead and log out.
All right, I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Good morning, Mr. Malaro. I do have Harold Outley here. Do you need a breakout session with him? You are muted.
Yes, please, Judge.
Okay, give me just a moment.
2 minutes. It won't take long.
Okay. Mr. Outley does not have his audio connected yet. As soon as he gets it connected, I'll get that set up. All right, Mr. Outley, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put you in a breakout session with Mr. Malaro.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Malero, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Outley?
Yes, Judge.
All right, we are on the record in file 23-21432-FH People versus Harold Eugene Outley. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayonet.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alex Bayonetto for the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Harold Outley.
All right, and Mr. Malero, where do we stand with Mr. Outley's case today?
Judge, Mr. Outley, so I'm going to ask to adjourn this one additional time, Judge, so only 30 days. He has a matter up in Detroit. I need to coordinate with that attorney to find out what's going on there and see how this affects this case. So that would be the basis for my request to adjourn 30 days.
Your Honor, just for the record, I am covering this case for Ms. Wagner. She did ask that if the defendant wasn't going to plead today, that the case be set for trial. But given that information from Mr. Malero, I will defer to Your Honor's discretion and how you want to proceed.
And Judge, I would just include that if for some reason we don't have a resolution, we don't have me sorted out with this case up in Detroit, that yeah, we'll either have it resolved or we'll set it for trial.
So we'll do a set it for December 27th at 8:15 a.m. If that date works. I understand that's between the holidays, so if it doesn't, I understand that.
Yeah, it's good for me, Judge.
It works for you, Your Honor.
All right, so December 21st at 8:15. And I would agree with everyone at this point. We need to set it for trial if it's not resolved by that time. Mr. Malero, would you prepare a stipulation in order for the adjournment?
I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Outley, your next date with our court is December 27th at 8:15.
Okay.
All right, you're all set then. You can go ahead and log out.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Malero. I think that's the only one I had for you today.
Yes, I think so. All right. Have a good Thanksgiving, Judge,
Thank you, you too.
and the rest of your crew.
Your Honor, if Mr. McCready is available, could I speak to him for just a moment in a breakout room?
I am available.
All right, one second.
Hey,
All right, Ms. Underwood, Mr. LaFever is here. Do you need a breakout session with him?
Could I speak to Mr. Fleming for just a second?
Mr. Fleming, are you there?
I am, Judge.
All right. We'll put you in a breakout session with Ms. Underwood. All right, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed?
If Mr. LaFever, could I just have 1 second with him, Your Honor? I believe we can resolve this whole thing.
Okay, Mr. Lefevre, I'm going to put you in a breakout session with Ms. Underwood.
Okay.
Absolutely great. Haley and Dan bringing that one. Let us comments today for the big game showdown. Coming up in a matter of moments.
I'm also going to need to turn the television down, Mr. Lefevre, whatever that is in the background is causing interference for us.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm ready on Kennedy whenever you're ready.
All right, we are on the record then in files 23-21426-FH, 23-21427-FH, and 23-21578-FH, People versus Daniel Martez Kennedy. We are here for pretrials in each of those cases. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. McCready.
Dave McCready for the People, standing in for Isaac Sneed.
Tamaris Hennigan on behalf of Daniel Kennedy.
All right, Ms. Hennigan, where do we stand with Mr. Kennedy's cases today?
Your Honor, I did receive a plea offer from the prosecutor's office a couple weeks ago, and at that time we didn't have all of the discovery. I've since received the discovery, had a discussion with my client about it, and we have a counter offer on the plea. Mr. McCready is not able to authorize that today, but does think that it would be reasonable. So I'm asking the court to set this out for 1 to 2 weeks, just so that we can have an opportunity to see if we can get an amended plea offer. And at which time then my client would be prepared to enter a plea. And if not, we would set this for trial at that time.
Mr. McCready, is there anything that we need to address from the people's side?
No, Your Honor.
All right, best it looks like I can do right now is December 20th at 8:15 a.m.
That
So
works for me.
I will be setting it for trial at that time if the matter is not resolved. This case, his older cases are both at 133 days. So this needs to move.
Understood, Your Honor.
That's fine with the People.
All right, so December 20th at 8:15 a.m. Ms. Hennigan, will you prepare those stipulation and orders?
Yes, I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
Can I get a breakout room again?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kennedy, I don't have time for that. You're using my only jail video screen, and I have a trial that starts in about an hour and 10 minutes, so I need to move on to some other people.
What's up?
So you can let the officers that's with you know that you're done with court for today, and I'm sure Ms. Hennigan will contact you at the jail if you want to speak to her.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
El Monte. Yeah, boy.
Actually, Mr. Kennedy, are you still there?
Yeah,
Mr. Kennedy, can you hear me?
yeah.
All right, it looks like I don't have the attorneys I need for the other people that are at the jail, so I do have time to give you a breakout session if you would like that.
Yes, please. Hold on, Montaigne. I'm about to talk to my lawyer right quick. Hey, Montaigne. I'm about to talk to my lawyer right quick. He about to put me in a breakout. There you go. I'm about to talk to my lawyer right fast. He about to put me in a breakout.
Oh, okay. I thought you were finished up.
Hey, I did too.
All right, Mr. Kennedy, I didn't speak fast enough. Apparently, Ms. Hennigan logged out, but we're calling her office right now to see if she can log back in real quick. So if she can log back in the next couple minutes, we will get you that breakout session.
Thank you.
Hi,
All
this is
right,
Kelly.
Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr.
Ms.
Laffitte?
Hennigan was just on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Xavier
Yes.
Kennedy.
The offer.
Okay, let me call the case.
I'm sorry, what do we call him, Judge? I can't. She was on Zoom with the client, Daniel Kennedy from the jail, and he asked for a workout, and the judge had originally. You need to log back in. All right, thank you. Bye.
We're calling Laffitte. We are on the record in file 23-21436-FH. People versus David Michael Lefevre. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on record, beginning with Mr. Fleming.
Chris Fleming appeared on behalf of the people.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Lefevre this morning, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Lefevre's case?
The offer in this matter is Mr. Lefevre will plead guilty to a disturbing the peace with a killabrew to fines and costs only, no upfront jail, and no jail. And Mr. Lefevre wishes to accept that offer, Your Honor. I don't know if the court wishes to do that plea or if the court wishes us to remand that case to district court for the plea, Your Honor.
I don't have the ability to remand the case once it gets sent up. If it's a misdemeanor plea, I have to take that. We are going to need an amended information, Mr. This is the, oh, I'm sorry. This is this. Okay, so I do. I was just handed an amended information with that. Mr. Fleming prepared that at light speed, apparently.
I have my talents, Judge. But
all right, so Mr. Lefevre, I'll need you to unmute your device and raise your right hand.
Yep.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes.
And you are David Michael Lefevre, correct?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Lefevre, we've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney is that your intention to plead guilty today to count 2 on the amended information disturbing the peace.
Yes.
And are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood and the advice she's given?
Yes, I am.
Do you understand that the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 90 days in jail and or a $500 fine?
Yes, I do.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court other than as we've discussed it here this morning. Is that correct, Mr. Fleming?
that's correct, Judge.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is that also your understanding, Mr. Lefevre?
Yes.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there'll be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and the court agreed, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at your trial, to have the witnesses against you appear at your trial, and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you wanted to testify. Do you understand, Mr. Lefevre, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial?
Yes, I do.
Do you also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right?
Yes.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, I don't.
Do you understand that you're giving those rights up?
Yes.
How do you wish to plead then to the charge that on or about May 15, 2023 in the city of Hudson, County of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of disturbing the peace?
Guilty.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to that charge?
No.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea, you're giving up any and all claims that your plea was given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record this morning, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea?
Yes, I understand.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce Mr. Lefevre to plead guilty?
No, Judge.
No, Judge.
Mr. Lefevre, other than as we've discussed on the record here this morning, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be?
No.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty today?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Underwood, would you like to cover the factual basis?
Mr. Lefevre, I take you back to that date in May of 2023. Were you in, I believe it was Tecumseh?
No, Hudson.
Hudson, I'm sorry. And at that time, were you involved in some sort of disturbance?
Yes.
And were you loud and boisterous?
My radio was loud, yes.
Yeah, your radio was very loud. And as a result, were the police called? The police were called, correct?
Yes.
And they came and took a report, correct?
I went to the police station.
Yeah. Okay. I believe it's sufficient, Your Honor.
All right, excuse me, Mr. Fleming, do the people have any questions they'd like to ask?
Just for a second, that happened in the city of Hudson County, Lenawee, state of Michigan, correct, Mr. Lefevre?
Yes.
And that was on May 15, 2023?
Yes.
And that incident occurred that created the disturbance was at 207 Pleasant Street. It was a public street, correct?
Yes.
People are satisfied, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Has the court complied with MTR 6.302 BC and D, Mr. Fleming?
You have, Judge.
Ms. Underwood?
You have, Your Honor.
All right. I will accept the plea then. It's been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Mr. Lefevre's had full knowledge of his rights. He's had competent counsel. Court's not made any agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, defense attorney, defendant, or anyone, any of them, other than as has been discussed on the record here this morning. I will refer this matter to the District Court Probation Office for a pre-sentence investigation, and we will set sentencing.
Your Honor, I believe the prosecutor was willing to waive a pre-sentence on this matter.
The people are, Judge. We would have no objection to continuing to sentence on the fines and costs for the disturbing the peace, if that's acceptable with this court.
Give me a moment. All right, Mr. Lefebvre, do you understand that normally I would set this out for sentencing at a future date? I would have a pretrial or a pre-sentence investigation conducted that would result in a report that would make a recommendation as to sentencing. You only proceed today to sentence you right now in accordance with the plea agreement. If you were willing to waive any right you had to have that process go forward.
Yes, okay.
All right, Ms. Underwood, anything you want to say on Mr. Lefebvre's behalf before the court passes sentence?
Just that we believe the plea bargain and the sentence requested are appropriate in this matter, Your Honor.
Mr. Lefebvre, is there anything else that you want to say before the court passes sentence?
No, I don't have anything to say, Your Honor.
Mr. Fleming, anything from the people?
No, Judge.
All right, yeah, will be the sense of court. You pay a $500 fine. You must also pay state costs of $50, court costs of $750, crime victims' rights fee of $75, and an attorney fee of $450. By law, Mr. Lefebvre, those fines and costs are due immediately upon sentencing. If you don't pay those within 30 days, they start to add interest and additional costs.
Is there any way I can get like a few months paying that? Because I have a tight income.
Your Honor,
How much time do you need, Mr. Lee?
I think at least 5 or 6 months. I live off of SSI.
Okay, I will give you to May 31st of 2024.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you are all set. Then you can go ahead and log out.
All right. You have a good holiday, Your Honor.
Good luck,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Lefebvre.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, we have the amended information on Mr. Nash.
Great, Your Honor.
All right, back on the record in file 23-21552-FH, People versus Dominic Nash. We do have the amended information that we need for Mr. Nash's plea, so we are ready to proceed. Mr. Nash, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes.
And you are Dominic Narvell Nash?
Yes.
Mr. Nash, you've heard the statements of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty today to count 2 on the amended information, 3rd-degree arson?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood and the advice that she's given?
Yes.
Do you understand that the maximum possible penalty for that offense is up to 10 years in prison and or a $20,000 fine?
Yes.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court other than as it's been discussed on the record this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Is that also your understanding, Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Okay, if a guilty plea is accepted, there'll be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and the court agree, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have the witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you wanted to testify. You understand, Mr. Nash, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial.
Yes.
Do you also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to your plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right?
Yes.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you understand all those rights that I've explained to you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you're giving those rights up?
Yes.
How do you wish to plead then to the charge that on or about July 25th, 2023 in Madison Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, that you did commit the offense of third-degree arson?
Guilty.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you in order to get you to plead guilty?
No, I just want to agree.
Sorry, did you say other than the agreement?
I said, no, I just want the agreement.
Okay. Do you understand that if I accept a plea, you're giving up any and all claims that the plea was given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record this morning, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea?
Yes.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce Mr. Nash to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nash, other than as we've discussed on the record this morning, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be?
29 months.
Correct. So what I'm asking is, other than that agreement that we've discussed here today, has she promised you anything else?
No.
Okay. Is it your own choice to plead guilty today, Mr. Nash?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Underwood, do you want to cover the factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Nash, on July 25th, 2023, were you an inmate at the Gus Harrison prison?
Yes.
And that is located in Madison Township in the county of Lenawee in the state of Michigan. Is that correct?
I guess, yes.
And you were lawfully detained there and resided there as an inmate, correct?
Yes.
And on that date, you set your mattress on fire. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you did that intentionally.
Yes.
I believe and you understand that the Killebrew agreement in this matter is a minimum of 29 months in prison or the low end of the guidelines, whichever is lower, correct?
Yes.
I believe I've established the facts, Your Honor.
People are satisfied.
Okay, has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Mr. McCready?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
It has, Your Honor.
All right, I will accept the plea then. It's been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Mr. Nash has had full knowledge of his rights. He's had competent counsel. The court's not made any agreement other than as it has been placed on the record this morning about the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in the case with the prosecutor, defense attorney, defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of any of them. I will refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation, and we will set sentencing for January 5th at 8:15 a.m.
The 5th, Your Honor.
5th. Mr. Nash, you do have a right to be present in the courtroom in person for the sentencing hearing. If you don't want to be here, you can choose to do that by Zoom, but you would need to waive your right to be here in person.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So it looks like we don't have fingerprints in the file for him. So that's going to have to be in person so that we can have his fingerprints done before sentencing. So Mr. McCready, if you could make sure that we get an in-person writ for Mr. Nash on the sentencing date, I would appreciate that.
Will do.
All right, Mr. Nash, someone from the probation department will be in touch with you to do a pre-sentence investigation interview. When you do that interview, please be truthful about this offense and about your background.
Yes.
Okay, you are all set then. You can let the officer that's with you know that you're done with court for today. Okay, Ms. Underwood, I have Brian Old here. Just bringing him over from the waiting room now. Do you need a breakout session with him?
Just a brief one, yeah, Your Honor, yeah.
Right, Mr. Olds, if you're there, I need to, okay. Mr. Olds, I'm going to put you in a breakout session with Ms. Underwood if you give me just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Olds?
I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, we are on the record then in file 23-21535-FH, People versus Brian Douglas Olds Jr. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayonet.
Alex Bayonetto for the people.
Rhonda Underwood for Mr. Olds this morning, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Olds' case today?
Your Honor, I believe we've received the transcript, so I'm going to have Mr. Olds in to discuss that and the case, Your Honor. And I would ask for one more pretrial in this matter, Your Honor. And then if we have no resolution, we'll probably be requesting a trial date.
Okay, Mr. Bayonetto, is there anything we need to address from the people standpoint?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, we can do December 27th at 8:15 a.m.
December 27th, did you say, Your Honor?
Correct.
Your Honor, could we go into January, please?
I could do January 3rd or the 10th.
The 10th, thank you.
So January 10th at 8:15 a.m. will be the next pretrial date. Ms. Underwood, would you prepare that stip in order for adjournment?
I will, Your Honor, with Mr. Bayonetto's permission.
Yes, you can.
All right, thank you then, Mr. Olds. Your next date will be January 10th at 8:15 a.m. You'll log in with all the same Zoom information that you used today.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Dagger Margosian, we have Mr. Berger Ellis here. Do you need a breakout session with him?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
One moment. Assume that we're not going to see him until. Okay, sorry, Mr. Old, you can go ahead and log out if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Underwood, we don't have Mr. Folds from MDOC.
That is my last one with you this morning, Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't have him logged in, and I don't see in the file a writ for him. So I don't know that there's anything we can do other than set him out for another date.
That would be fine, Your Honor.
Can you do January 3rd at 8:15?
And will the prosecutor's office prepare the writ and this stip and adjournment, Your Honor?
Let's see, Mr. Bayonetto or Mr. Fleming.
We would prepare the writ, Judge. I apologize. I missed the defendant's name there.
This is Joshua Dwayne Folds. It's file 23-21481.
Mr. Fleming, will you do the stip and adjournment as well?
That's no problem.
Thank you.
Do you have your permission to sign, Ms. Underwood?
Hmm?
Do we have your permission to sign?
I don't,
He's asking for permission to sign the stip in order.
yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, there's
Okay.
background noise.
Yeah, no problem. So January 3rd at 8:15.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Dagger-Margosian, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Berger Ellis?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are on the record then in file 19-19274-FH, People versus Michael Henry Berger Ellis. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we're proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. Fleming.
Chris, I want to appear on behalf of the people.
Your Honor, Michael Dagger-Margosian for Mr. Berger Ellis.
Okay, and Mr. Dagger-Margosian, where do we stand with Mr. Berger Ellis's case today?
Well, Your Honor, sort of the same as where we were last time. This is obviously a violation of probation. The allegation is for Mr. Berger Ellis being charged in district court with new felonies. That case is scheduled for a preliminary exam on January 19th of next year. So there really can't be a plea entered on the violation of probation until that case is resolved, or at least up to circuit court. So frankly, I'm just asking the court to, I don't see any other thing than just adjourning this until either on that date or after that date.
Okay. Mr. Fleming, anything we need to address from the people's side?
No, I completely understand the request for adjournment, Judge. It makes sense.
Okay. So the January 19th, you said?
Correct.
So that's a Friday. If you were bound, will that be up the next Wednesday? So the following, so the okay. So if he were to be bound over on the other case, I think he would be scheduled for arraignment in this court on January 31st. So I will set this out to January 31st at 8:15.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Dagger-Margosian, would you be willing to do a stip in order for that adjournment?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Berger Ellis, you can let the officer that is with you know that you are done with our court for today.
Okay, thank you. I'm all done.
You're all done?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Dagger-Margosian, that's the only one I had for you, unless you happen to be handling either of Mr. Glazer's cases.
I'm not, but I'll follow up with the office and see who needs to be here. So I think I'm all set for today, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Fleming, Mr. Bandetto, the only two I have left are Mitchell Robinson and Kenyatta Silvertooth. Need Mr. Glazer for either of those, unless you had something that I don't see on my docket.
I don't believe, Joshua Folds, Your Honor.
Let's see, Joshua Folds, we didn't have, he got adjourned to January 3rd. We didn't have a writ for him. Mr. Fleming indicated he would make sure a rate gets done.
Okay. But yeah, other than that, I just have those two, so I can stick around if Mr. Fleming wants to take off.
Oh, behind? Okay. I never would have thought, sir. More than two people. Oh, brush the teeth. Not like that. Yeah.